Hey, what's up, guys? As a lot of you guys may know, I've been working on a 1 gold to 10k flipping challenge in TBC right now. And with the release of Season of Masteries, I wanted to see if we could kind of replicate that. I think it'll be really interesting since not only will we be starting with 0 gold, but so is everyone else. So the economy itself isn't really stable and set in place, so we'll kind of have to maneuver that as we go. Some changes I wanted to make for this series is we'll also be able to level and have and use our own professions. The reason why I'm making this change is because I think it'll just be a bit more enjoyable having the profession aspect unlocked, and that way we'll have a little bit more options available to us. I'm also debating if I'd want to allow farming on this challenge. Say, if I get to, I don't know, level 40 or something, would I be able to farm certain mobs for a rare drop that sells pretty well? This one is still up for debate. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I personally think I'd allow that since I know myself, and honestly, I don't really know how much I'd actually want to level in the first place, anyways. And primarily, I like to make gold through flipping and using the auction house. So even if I were to allow that, I think I wouldn't really farm all that much. So anyways, we're starting with a fresh character at level 1. And the first thing we'll go ahead and do is actually just find a way to get any money at all. So the easiest way I can think of is I'll go ahead and just sell all my gear and anything that they give you when you start a level 1 character. And then we'll hopefully use those few coppers to try and find items that people are listing below vendor value on the auction house and just buy these up and sell them straight to a vendor for profit. This will be pretty slow overall, and I'll have to make a bunch of trips to and from the auction house. But as you guys can see, there's a bunch of items up here, and I can just buy these and just make some gold. So anyways, we'll do this for a bit until we have a bit more gold and see what we can do from there. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are no items that are below vendor value on the auction house, but overall not bad. We made already our first silver just running from the auction house to the mailbox and vice versa, so not too shabby. Now, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to get level 5 because you need level 5 to disenchant items, and I think I want to get enchanting in case we get some nice disenchant opportunities. So let's bang that out real quick and then try to get some more gold. All right, so we finally got level 5. It didn't really take that long, maybe 30 minutes or so. I do have to head out though, so we won't be able to start flipping just yet, but it's okay. When I get back, hopefully we'll get a bunch more items that are under vendor value and we'll be able to boost our starting cash. Perfect, guys. So we're back, and as expected, there's quite a few more items here under vendor value. Ideally, I kind of want to like make 1 to 2 gold to actually start flipping, but I think just doing vendor searches may take quite a while to get to that point. So we'll keep doing this for a bit and see if we can maybe find a faster method to build our starting cash. So this was actually a lot faster when we had a few silver since we didn't have to actually run to the mailbox as often. But we now have around 4.5 silver. So what I'll do is I want to actually try to make some bags to sell. I think since a lot of people are leveling, this might be a good time to try out. Our capital is still pretty low, but we'll find a way to make it work. I'll start off by buying some linen cloth, and actually if we turn these into bolts of linen cloth, we can vendor them for profit. So as long as we don't pay more than 20 copper per linen, we should actually come out ahead. Finally, after making quite a bit of bolts of linen and just vendoring them, we got to level 45 tailoring and actually made like 1 silver just by vendoring the bolts. So now I'll sell a few bolts of linen cloth to be able to actually afford to learn how to craft bags, and we'll try to craft those to sell. Alright, so it's the next day and I decided to craft 2 bags with the bolts of linen that we had, and I'll see how well they sell in the auction house. If they do sell, we should make around maybe 1 silver or so on each bag, which isn't really that much, but right now we have like 5 silver or so, so increasing our funds by like 30% would be really helpful right now. So I'll leave these in for the 2-hour duration and see if they sell. Now, while I wait, I don't have that much gold to actually do anything, but I've been advertising that I can craft linen bags. So I ended up crafting this guy 4 bags. I did actually buy the thread to make them, so he paid me 3 silver. About half of that was the cost for the actual thread. So we made about 1.5 silver from crafting these, which is really nice. And while we were crafting those bags, our 2 linen bags on the auction house actually sold. We will have to wait the 1 hour to get the gold, unfortunately, so I took the time to buy more linen cloth to craft some more bolts of linen to vendor them, and that gave me enough gold to craft 3 more additional bags. So these are what the auctions look like so far. We already sold 3, so that'll be a nice chunk of change. So this morning for our first actual mailbox opening, we have almost 16 silver. This is actually pretty exciting since right now we're kind of gated by just the amount of gold we have. So the more quickly we can get a few gold, the better it'll be for us. For today, I think we'll keep working on tailoring. I think if we can get to like the higher level bags, say silk or even mage weave, we can probably make a pretty decent profit. Okay, so I went ahead and bought some more linen cloth, and I was able to craft 9 linen bags. The profit margin on these are slowly closing, but we're still making roughly a silver each, so hopefully we can get all of these to sell. Okay guys, so we left the bags in for a few hours and it seems like they all sell, so that's really nice to see. It's really encouraging when you don't have to relist items over and over again, so we'll pick up our 26 silver and see if we can maybe make some more bags. Okay, so I've actually realized that as long as I buy the linen cloth, say under 28 to 25 copper or so, which there seems to be quite a bit on the auction house for most days whenever I scan it, I can actually craft the linen bags and vendor them and make a profit. It is lower than selling them on the auction house though, since we're vendoring them for like 2 silver each rather than the 3 silver or so we'd be getting on the auction house. But this way we can actually still make a profit not having to wait the 1 hour for our auctions to sell. So I think this will kind of be a better outcome in the long run. Anyways, I went ahead and churned these bags for a bit and now we're sitting at 47 silver. So what I'll do is I'll invest some of this money into enchanting as I kind of want to level it a bit and start making wands. Okay, so we spent quite a bit of money on our first 10 levels of enchanting, but we did get to level 10 and made 5 wands, and then we vendored them. Typically, if lesser magic essence is sitting at around 4 silver or less, you can make wands and vendor them for profit. It's the same idea as what we're doing with the linen bags. So this is nice, we have both professions now available to us to make some gold. So we'll go back to the auction house and either do some more bags or some more wands and try to get to that 1 gold mark as soon as possible. Alright guys, so we didn't get to the 1 gold mark just yet, but we're not too far off. We churned some more bags up to around 70 silver. We also actually equipped 4 of the bags we crafted because we'll eventually need the backspace, so might as well. Now I am maxed out in tailoring and I can't really learn the higher level bags like wool or silk cloth until I train tailoring. However, that actually requires me to get to level 10. So I bought this green dagger just to make it a little bit faster because punching mobs till level 10 really seems kind of slow. So I'll go ahead and get to level 10 over the next few days or so really quickly and we'll get back to it. Alright guys, so I got to level 10 just killing mobs over the last few days on my downtime. And now we'll get back to the flipping. I went ahead and did a vendor scan since there was still quite a bit of items under vendor value. And we also sold our extra strange dust that we bought to level enchanting. And after vendoring all of the items, we're back to roughly 70 silver mark where we were sitting at before. Now, linen cloth is a bit expensive right now, so I'll wait it out a bit. But when we come back, the goal will be to just simply craft some bags and sell them on the auction house, or just simply craft some bags to vendor. So that way we can also level tailoring to get to those higher level bags while still making a little bit of gold. Alright, so I'll go ahead and cut these clips down for you guys, but basically I went ahead and crafted a few more linen bags until I was able to learn the wool bags. I then crafted some linen bags for this guy who gave me 10 linen cloth as a tip. I also made some linen bags for this other guy and he tipped me 2 silver. Then I crafted some more linen bags for a 50 copper tip, and then found someone who actually needed some wool bags who gave me 3 silver. And then I sold a few wool bags for 7 silver each. And we listed a few on the auction house and we ended our day with a bunch of wool cloth that we crafted, but we didn't have enough cash to actually convert them into bags or even list them on the auction house. So we'll wait until our auctions have sold and we'll get that money to keep the grind going. Okay, perfect guys. So we got all of our bags sold and we have 20 silver worth of sales. So that'll be plenty to craft our remaining wool bags. So as you guys know, I always prefer selling things through trade if I can. We don't have to pay any deposit costs, and we also get the gold right away to keep flipping things. So that's what we did this morning. We sold 4 bags for 7 silver each to this guy. There's also someone else who wanted 4 bags, but he wanted us to COD them to him. It's kind of annoying since this will take us a while for the cash to actually reach us, but a sale is a sale, so I'll still send them to him. And we spent the rest of our time today just making more linen bags and vendoring them. And same thing with some wands, we got some cheap magic essence and made some wands and vendored them for profit. So when all is said and done, we have 35 silver in our bag, but we did make a buttload of linen bags and listed them on the auction house just because they had a pretty decent margin on them. They are over 3 silver right now. So let's hope all of this sells. If it does, we'll be looking at pretty much 1 gold. Okay guys, so it's the following morning and we have roughly 50 silver of sold auctions. It looks like a lot of our linen bags did not sell, which is a bit unfortunate. A lot of our gold actually comes from the wool bags, which we COD'd yesterday, which I kind of had forgotten about. So I think what I'll do is I'll actually just vendor the linen bags. Remember, we are still making profit if we vendor them, just a little bit less, but I prefer having the liquid cash, so I might as well do that. Now, I think the goal for the end of this episode is to try to get to the silk bags, since I think most people right now are kind of in that level range where they use those types of bags, so I'd assume they'd sell pretty well. So I went ahead and bought a bunch of wool cloth to make into wool bags, and we listed these on the auction house. We're only like 20 tailoring levels away from silk bags, so hopefully if these wool bags sell by tomorrow or the day after, we can go ahead and craft some silk ones. Alright guys, so it's the following morning and this is always great to see. We sold all of our bags. So we have a mailbox of around 1 gold of sales. Now I think what I want to go ahead and do is actually craft some spider silk boots. These are a level 20 pair of blue cloth boots and they have some decent stats on them. The mats to craft them are roughly like 60 silver or so, and it seems to be going for around 1 gold on the auction house. But I'm mainly doing it for the crafting levels. By crafting some of the bolts of silk cloth and the actual boots, it should get us closer to that 150 tailoring level to craft those silk bags. Okay guys, so I had crafted the boots and listed them on the auction house, but we actually found someone in trade chat who wanted to buy them for 1 gold. He asked us to COD it to him, so we'll go ahead since if we sold it on the auction house, we wouldn't really have gotten more than 1 gold after all the fees and everything. So hopefully when we get this gold back in the mail, we can go ahead and finish up on those last few tailoring levels. Alright, so it seems most of our items sold. We also got our spider silk boots COD gold, which is great. And at the end of last episode, I actually had some extra bolts of silk cloth I put on the auction house just to see if they would sell, since they had like 1.5 silver margin on them. And it seems some people do buy these. We sold 6 out of the 7 we had listed there, so that's good to know for the future. Alright guys, so I went ahead and bought some silk cloth and I decided to try the spider silk boots craft once more. We're making a decent profit on it and it is giving us a guaranteed tailoring level 2. The only issue is that it does require a lot of our upfront capital, so I'll only make one and we'll test out the azure silk hood and pants as well. These are low-level cloth items that I think maybe some mages or some casters might actually buy if we list them for cheap enough. So we'll gain a tailoring level there, as well as it'll kind of give us an idea of how the low-level crafting market is like. Okay, so this is what the auctions look like. So we got all of our crafted items up here. Hopefully these sell, but if they don't, I always vendor them at a small loss. We're just 3 tailoring levels away from being able to make those silk bags, so hopefully we can get all of that finally done by later today or tomorrow. Alright, so we're back guys. It's later in the afternoon and we actually found someone who was willing to buy our spider silk boots through trade. None of our other items sold, but at least we can churn this pair of boots, so that's not too bad. So I'll get some more mats to craft another pair and see what we can do from there. Alright, so I went ahead and crafted another pair of spider silk boots and we actually found someone else who was willing to buy them. This time only for 80 silver and he did also want us to COD it to him, but that's okay, we went ahead and did that for him. We were only left with like 30 silver or so, so I decided to buy some more silk cloth and crafted bolts of silk cloth to put up on the auction house. Last time we put them up, they sold pretty quickly and I'd rather have most of our gold working for us if that's possible. So these are all the auctions and we'll check back in tomorrow. Alright guys, so we got a few sales this morning, around 50 silver, which is almost all of our bolts of silk cloth again. I don't see any spider silk boot money in here though, which is pretty frustrating. So I guess that's kind of the risk of doing business with people and mailing items. I have no idea if this person will log in to buy the boots or even just return them to us. I might be jumping to conclusions since it's only been a day, but I'd almost assume by this point that the boots are only going to come back to us in around 30 days from now when the mail expires. Anyways, another unfortunate thing is our Azure Silk hood and pants did not sell. I kind of figured that would have been the case because after crafting the item, I actually looked at the margins and there just seemed to be quite a lot of items on the auction house. The margins were quite slim as well, so it was probably just too much of a common item that people use for their tailoring levels. So that was probably an oversight on my part, so I'll try and still sell them, and if not, I might as well just vendor them. Okay, so actually guys, someone wanted to buy the Azure Silk pants. They didn't really have any gold, but they did have 1.5 stack of wool cloth and a stack of linen. So overall, I mean, if we sell the cloth as is, we'll probably break even on that item, so that's not too bad. Now finally, we pulled the trigger. I went ahead and bought a few more silk cloth and I made 2 Azure Silk hoods, and we finally got to level 115 tailoring. We'll go ahead and just vendor the hoods at a small loss, but I think it's worth it since we're now able to craft some silk bags. And just like this guy actually gave us 15 silver to craft 2 bags, so that's actually pretty solid. Alright, so now I was actually looking into making some silk bags to list on the auction house, but honestly I feel like the market might be a bit oversaturated at this point. The margins are really terrible on one bag, and that's if it sells. So what I did instead is I made some more bolts of silk cloth and listed those. The margins are actually pretty crazy on the bolts today, so hopefully they sell throughout the night. Okay, good morning guys. So for today we have 61 silver of sold auctions. Not too bad. I'm pretty happy to see some of the bolts sold. We made like 10 silver profit per bolt, so that's really great. And we sold the linen and the wool that the other guy yesterday traded for our pants, so that sale is kind of to be expected. Alright, so now since we did get our professions maxed out for our level, we have 2 options. We could either go back and level some more to be able to level up our professions and make some more gold, but that would kind of mean I'd have to go and get at least level 20, and honestly, I'm probably as lazy as you guys watching, if not more. So instead, what I'll do is I'll go back to my roots and see if we can maybe find some decent margins on some low level items. We have some starting cash to play with, and the market seems to be picking up as people are getting more cash on hand as well. So let's see what we can find. Okay guys, so for today's item, we'll try to start off with some copper ore. There's quite a bit at a relatively cheap price, and honestly I'm sure half the people playing Season of Mastery might not even have an auction add-on. So I'll buy these up and I'll actually list them at a bit higher price than what other people are selling it at. Maybe kind of in the middle at around 50 copper or so. So if we can make like 20 copper on each, it doesn't seem like much, but since we have over 200 ores, that'll kind of double our money right there. Alright guys, so it took a bit of time, but everything is listed. We have almost 2 gold of auctions up here, so we're sitting pretty. As usual, we'll check back in tomorrow. So today actually, before we open our mailbox, we're starting the day off with a craft. Someone needed some silk bags made, and good thing we leveled our tailoring. So we provided the service and we got a 5 silver tip. Now onto the mailbox. For our first batch of items, we have 47 silver. So all 100 copper ores sold in this first batch, which is really nice. And for our second batch, we have 19 silver of sold auctions. Seems like about half the copper ore didn't sell in this batch, but that's okay. It's just a bit more items to list. And we still have around 1 gold to work with, so let's see what we can buy today. Alright, so today we won't really reinvent the wheel here all too much, so we'll go ahead and buy all of these cheap copper bars and relist them. Same idea as the copper ores from yesterday, we'll probably just relist them at a higher price and hope a lot of them get bought out during the day. I think it's a pretty safe bet since when I relisted my copper ores just a few minutes ago, the cheapest price was 1 silver per ore, so anyone leveling like blacksmithing or something like that might actually just buy the bar straight up. So here are the auctions. We're still climbing guys, around 2 gold of listed auctions, and we kept a bunch of copper bars in our bags because we didn't really want to flood the market all too much. So we'll see how these do today and check back in tomorrow. So for this morning, our first batch of auctions, we just got around 1 silver. So just a few copper ores sold. We got a lot of the ores and the bars back, but that's kind of to be expected when you're not undercutting and just trying to get a higher price. For our second batch of auctions, we only have 7 silver. So overall, pretty disappointing haul, but we'll see how prices are looking like, and maybe we can get these to sell before the end of the day. Now, one thing I realized which was probably killing my auctions was that I was using a 2-hour listing time as default. You can actually change this on Auctionator in the settings if you use that add-on, or even if you use TSM. I'm sure there is a similar setting that you can change to set for your default auction times. So for items like these, I want to set them for 8 hours because 2 hours is really not long enough for people to buy up the cheaper stacks and start buying mine at a higher price. So I think relisting them with that time point in mind will do a lot better today in terms of sales. In terms of items, since we really didn't have much funds today, I decided to just go ahead and bid on a bunch of different items, just things that were below vendor value or I think that I could probably resell pretty easily. If you follow my TBC flipping journey, you'll probably know I almost never win bids, so this is kind of a long shot, but you never know. So I'll leave my auctions overnight and see you guys tomorrow for our last day in this episode. Okay guys, so we have 37 silver in our first batch of auctions, which is already a lot better than yesterday. But the big thing is we finally got our spider silk boots back. I'm really happy we got these back so we can actually go ahead and sell them. But it did kind of set us back a bit since at that time it was at least half of our gold, if not more. But anyways, I won't complain all too much and I'll try to not make that mistake again. For our second batch of auctions, we have 44 silver, a lot of our copper bars sold, and we have all of our bids just coming back, basically no surprise there. And lastly, for our last 75 auctions, we have 14 silver. Again, a lot of bids coming back, and the only one we actually won was the copper bolts, which will probably just end up vendoring. They're worth like 10 copper or something, so nothing huge. So for today, we actually did a vendor scan and we have some black pearls here that we got. I'm not sure how well they'll sell in Classic, but in TBC, we used to sell these for jewel crafting, I believe. Maybe there's another use for them in Classic, so I'll give it a go and list like maybe 2 or 3 of them on the auction house. And if they don't end up selling, we can just vendor them later. We'll also go ahead and buy some stacks of linen cloth. Nothing really exciting, but I know we can make some money on this if we relist it at like 50 copper each. All right, so here are all of our auctions right now. So we're sitting at 2 silver in our bags with maybe like half a gold of items in our bags as well, and roughly 6 gold of listed items. I'll try to my best to show the slash plate time as well as we go through this journey. So right now we're already at 12 hours so far. So our gold per hour is pretty horrible right now, but don't worry guys, it'll ramp up. Next episode, I'd like to get a hold of maybe like 20 to 30 gold, and then we can maybe start looking at higher tier items or maybe some rare recipes or some late game craftables as well. So there is still a lot in store. Let me know what you guys think, if I should include any farms in this series or keep it at the auction house like we're doing for TBC. Anyways, I hope this was really fun for you guys to watch, and hopefully some of you guys will stick around for the full challenge, whether we fail or if we achieve the 5K goal. I'll make sure to include everything from start to end, so at least that way everything will be documented for you guys. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for all the love and support on the video so far. Make sure to subscribe if you want to follow along on the journey, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.